Ransom note. I don't know why this is called ransom note, but let's solve it. Before we do, here are some companies that ask this, not many. So what we're given is two strings. One is ransom note and one is magazine. And we are trying to return true if you can make all the letters in ransom note from magazine. And you can only use each letter once. So since we have AA in ransom note and we also have two A's in magazine, that means we can make the ransom note string from the letters in magazine. We don't have to use all the letters in magazine. As you can see here, we have AA, but we only have one A in magazine, so we're missing the second A to make ransom note. I'll show you a pretty quick and concise way to solve this problem. Now, the general approach is to probably make a magazine counter or like a magazine dictionary where you have each letter in magazine along with its number of appearances in the string. And then you iterate through ransom notes, doing things like subtracting the count of the letter in magazine. And if it's not in magazine, you return false. But we can do it simpler. So let's make a ransom note counter. And if you don't know what this is, it's basically the same as making a dictionary. So let me do the dictionary equivalent just to show you. Now this piece of code is 2 lines longer, but it's basically equal to making a counter like this. So if it turns out that you're not able to use counter, just do it like this, where you initialize an empty dictionary. So let me comment this out and then go continue with my approach. So now we want to make another counter for magazine. Now we're going to return ransom note counter equals to ransom note counter and logical and magazine counter. Now to quickly explain what this logical AND does, it basically takes both ransom note counter and magazine counter and combines them, removing any element that doesn't appear in both counters. And this also applies to the frequencies of each element. So in ransom note counter, if we had character A appears 4 times, and if in magazine counter we have character A appears 3 times, it's just going to return a counter with A appearing 3 times because that's the minimum amount of times that it appears in both. And if we had something like B is 2 here and we don't have any B's in the other counter, it's just going to not return this because it doesn't appear in both. So if we do this to the entire ransom note counter and magazine counter, it's going to return the same ransom note counter if there are enough letters and frequencies in magazine counter to make the ransom note. And by the way, regular dictionaries don't have this logical AND property, so you can't really do it this way with regular dictionaries. Let me actually show you the other way. I'm going to delete this code and then uncomment this and then fix this a little bit since I kind of wrote it wrong the first time. And I changed this to magazine because we want to actually get the magazine dictionary, not the ransom note dictionary, because we're checking the ransom note against the frequencies in magazine. For this, we're basically just iterating through magazine and getting the frequencies and storing them in the magazine dictionary. So to do that, we set magazine dictionary at char equals to magazine dictionary.get. And we either get the value at char if it exists. If it doesn't exist, it returns 0. This is what this get function does, so you don't run into any errors accessing indices. And then we add 1 to the result because we see the character in magazine. Now we want to iterate through ransom notes. And if the character is not in magazine dictionary, we just want to return false. Now if we haven't returned, that means it's in magazine dictionary, so we want to decrement it by 1. Magazine dictionary at char minus equals 1. And we also want to check if magazine dictionary at char is less than 0. And if it's less than 0, that means we've decremented a 0 frequency, which is not possible because that means that there is a letter in ransom note that's not in magazine. So we also want to return false. And if we pass all these cases, we just return true. That's the other way to do it.